the public semantics posturing that you saw back in 2015 with the San Bernardino shooter. Here you had a terrorist who had killed a bunch of people who was dead, and Apple very publicly, and we talked about this on the show a bunch over the years, refused to unlock his iPhone for the FBI. And Jim DiOrio, who's been on the show before, has talked about this a bunch because, you know, he was in the FBI at the time and he wanted the iPhone. He wanted it. And Jim DiOrio is a good guy, but as I've pointed out to him, I'm like, Jim, I believe that you won't use that as a bad precedent to do way worse things, but who's to say the other fucking bad agent in there isn't going to use that in the future? And guys like that love Jim, great dude. They never have a great answer to that question because they know they may be moral, but who's to say everyone else is? So anyway, Apple did not unlock the iPhone. Now I have no doubt that these tech companies, including Apple, you know, Apple always brags about their customer support for privacy compared to the other companies. I've always said it's like saying you're a dwarf among midgets. You know, you can reach the second shelf. Congratulations. I need you on the 10th. But anyway, like when you see those things happen publicly, you know there is at least some facade semantically. I hope this is making sense for some right to privacy where it's not full-blown Big Brother on your phone. When you are talking about public spaces filled with flock cameras, that you leave the privacy of your home and go places and don't realize these things are, or realize these things are, and then something happens and you're framed and it can track your Bluetooth movements. It goes way beyond the standards of what they're supposed to do because people have access to it, and you can see cops and law enforcement abuse it if they want, as we've already seen happen. That's an issue for me. That's a huge issue for me. And if you don't believe that, look no further than what MBZ is laying out here. He's laying out exactly what the Chinese protocol was. Now, China, the CCP doesn't have a constitution like ours, so they could probably fuck people with the phones already. But we remember during the pandemic, you can even look at Australia, by the way, with this one, but let's keep it on China for a second. You know, they had drones outside people's houses making sure they weren't coming out on the fucking porch. You know, they have a full social credit system. And so things like flock in public spaces, without your consent, can decide to delve into your privacy because you've gone out into the public. You have left the privacy of your home. And that is a big difference to me. It is not discounting that the phone is not something that is very problematic for me when I look at privacy and I look at government surveillance and stuff like that. Of course it is. But like, don't give me the argument of the well, what about, to get the argument off something that is a legitimate place to argue about. In this case, surveillance cameras and flock. So again, I have something 15 years ago that they were doing in the Middle East, bragging about how everyone, and again, let's read that line. Everyone is monitored from the moment they leave their doorstep to the moment they return to it. Their work, social, and behavioral patterns are recorded, analyzed, and archived. It sounds like science fiction, but it's happening today in Abu Dhabi. That's what I worry about. So you saw all these places work on surveillance, and where it gets interesting and where the overlap kind of comes back, because again, this story starts with the Lakers and Iger with Kushner buying the team, and there's some weird money behind it. It, of course, delves into one Jeffrey Epstein. Did I put that part on the actual doc, Deef, or can I go to that in the article?
I could go to it in the article.
Yeah, let's go to it in the article. Because guess what? Surprise, all these people are tied to Jeffrey Epstein. In his final years, Henry Abbott writes, Jeffrey Epstein was cooking up something big. There's credible analysis that Jared Kushner, so we're on Jared now, his signature diplomatic accomplishment, the Abraham Accords, were born of Epstein's sordid efforts to build a bridge between the Emirates and Israel. And Henry Abbott, I believe, has an article. He links that back. I think that's his article where he's investigating that. There's so much more. Kate Justice says Epstein told Rafat al-Sabag, the senior advisor at the royal court, that Saudi Arabia was held hostage by the U.S. banking system. And across roughly 14 months of correspondence, he proposed 5 mechanisms for getting the kingdom out of that arrangement. Epstein's scheme tied together cryptocurrency, China, and nations like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, recognizing and deepening ties with Israel. A man named David Stern, and that is not the NBA commissioner David Stern, to be clear, is a different David Stern, emailed Epstein in October 2017. Listen to this quote. Digital currency. And then it's got a colon and it says MBZ, who we just talked about as a part of the, what is it, Mubadala?
Mubadala.
Yeah. MBZ handed to Khaldun speaking to him. So this David Stern is reporting back to Jeffrey Epstein that he is in direct contact with Khaldun and MBZ in regards to all the things I list there, which includes cryptocurrency, China, and nations like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and I always say Qatar and Qatar. I never know which fucking one it is. And the UAE recognizing and deepening ties with Israel. So they're working on peace deals in the Middle East with Israel. On that behalf, you can certainly hit the bells there and wonder what that's all about. And they're also working on things like cryptocurrency that could be controlled by governments in this case, which would make it central bank digital currency, which would tie directly into a surveillance state system where they could track everything you do and create a social credit score and decide when, where, and how you can spend your money, or if that is even possible. Never gets old, does it, Deef?
But at least Apple is going to let me know if Pegasus has been installed on my phone.
That's right. What is that, Joey Deef?
That's nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy?
Apple? No, it's kind of like that FBI thing. It seems like they're just taking precautions. They're going to alert users if a foreign spyware has been installed on their phone, i.e. Pegasus or, whatever the Chinese are cooking up in the wok, all that. So.
Right. So what does that look like, Joey Deef? Do I get a push button notification from Apple that says, hello, you're fucked?
They're just going to start sending you like notifications being like they're coming for you.
Right. So it's a notification that basically says, congratulations, you're dead, but at least just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's not a lot of clouds. It's not hot. You might be in purgatory.
Yeah, you're going to have to make a new Apple ID on that.
Yeah, new Apple ID and, Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, that's right. That's pretty much it.
One of, if not the most common DMs I get on Instagram are many of you asking me what my favorite books are. Well, today's your lucky day, because if you use the link in my description below to join my newsletter, I'm going to give you my top 10 book recommendations right now. Also, if you'd like to join my clipping community for a chance to make money producing content from the show, you can do so via the Discord link in my description below. And finally, you can join my Patreon for early uncensored releases of the full episodes via the Patreon link in my description below. As always, please take 1 second to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really appreciate that. Also, the like button's a big help, and you can join my newsletter via the link in the description. Now, Joey D, if you want to know who else happened to be in Saudi Arabia in October 2017 when Jeffrey Epstein was coordinating with David Stern on that email?
The Kushmeister, who I don't know. Yeah?
Yep.
Well,
in late October 2017, Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law and Middle East advisor, this is during Trump administration 1, dropped into Saudi Arabia for an unannounced visit to the desert retreat of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, who was in the process of consolidating his power. The two men talked privately late into the night. That's what you do. You go meet with your favorite world leader. Unannounced, who definitely has never committed a human rights violation in any way, shape, or form, is a benevolent, democratically elected, right?
Yeah.
Did not round up everyone right around the same time period that was related to him and his giant incestuous royal family and put them all into the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Saudi Arabia as prisoners and torture them and kill some of them.
It's all above board.
Right. It's all above board. He didn't do any of that.
Board. No.
I just want to be clear.
Your Honor, my client is innocent.
He's innocent of all charges. And you know what? As far as I know, Joey Deef, I was told that because no sanctions happened, he was not responsible for the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. Right?
Checks out.
Yeah.
He's got documentation.
Blink twice if you're a hostage, Joey Deef. That was a lot of times. That's not. Remember we talked about this. You have to do it. You have to actually like count it out so that people get it right. Let me run that back. Blink twice if you're a hostage, Joey Deef. Just saying.
Not bad.
Just saying. So just a day earlier, Henry writes, and this is from the New York Times again. Mr. Kushner's younger brother, Josh, then 32, was also flying out to the kingdom. It was a giant family reunion in the Saudi Arabian fucking palace. Jared came to talk policy, but Josh was there on what, Joey Deef?
Biz. It's always biz.
The founder of an 8-year-old venture capital firm, Josh Kushner, had spent the 3 days before his brother's arrival at an investor conference, which is what VC people do, where Prince Mohammed had promised to spend billions of dollars on a high-tech future for Saudi Arabia. As others sat through speeches in a gilded conference hall, several participants said the younger Mr. Kushner frequently ducked out for more exclusive conversations with Saudi officials. Near the end, the article includes the line, "The Riyadh conference drew Wall Street titans, and some attendees questioned how a relatively small player enjoyed high-level access to Saudi officials." Josh was just 32 at the time. Oh, I don't know. Maybe his fucking brother is a senior Nepo baby, advisor to the sitting president of the United States doing fucking biz off the government books in the Middle East. And so maybe his younger brother can also be Nepo'd right the fuck in. It seems to fucking check out to me.
No, how would that happen?
I mean, that's apparently what happens at these places, Joey Deef. Look at Phoebe Gates.
Hey, individuals, man. He's a good guy. He's a Democrat.
Don't tell me you're going to start defending Phoebe Gates now.
No, Kushmeister, Josh. He's a Dem, dude. Good guy.
Yeah, I know.
He's got a moral compass.
It's the same kind of thing right here. It's all the big club that we're not in and everything.
Biz, man.
So the same things that Epstein's working on with base deals wrapped in a little surveillance, the Kushners happen to be there at the same time making some decisions that later lead to some bigger valuations in their companies. Remember, Jared Kushner later in 2021 got, $2.1 billion from the Saudis?
Not bad.
Because he was out of politics at that point, of course. He said he was never to return. I think Iran has a word to say about that. Neither here nor there. But Joshua Kushner also continued to get investments throughout these years, which Henry breaks down in a lot of detail in the article. So read it there. But different people started to put money into Jared Kushner's fund. What was it called? Thrive? That's right.
Thrive.
That's right. It was called Thrive. So Thrive grows. Eventually, a lot of things happen, and Joshua Kushner is allegedly worth $5 billion, which I believe technically makes him the highest valuation Kushner, which is, good for him. Guess that's hard to do. But Thrive, very quietly, on April 24th, did a little something in Delaware, Joey Deef. You know what they did?
What'd they do? They did a deal?
Let's go. They did a deal. They did a quiet deal.
Quiet deal.
So from Henry's article, Kushner announced Thrive Eternal on April 24th. That's good branding. Thrive Eternal.
A little spinoff.
Yeah, Thrive. That's like a nice name.
It
makes you think like, things are going to be
Thrive
good. You're going to live
Eternal.
forever. So Kushner announced Thrive Eternal on April 24th, which reportedly will contribute to the Lakers' purchase. Thrive Eternal Feeder LP was formed in Delaware on March 26, 4 weeks prior. A feeder is a vehicle that collects investors and channels them into a master fund. The master fund is not in Delaware. So far, SEC filings contain no mention of Thrive Eternal whatsoever. Henry writes, I searched Edgar by company name, by full text, and by Thrive's address at 295 Lafayette Street. It's very possible that no regulator, not the SEC, not anyone, will ever see a list of who invests with Thrive Eternal. That means we are relying on the NBA to vet this transaction, which could include money below the surface.
They're gonna.
And they're
they're
vet
gonna.
real hard.
Yeah,
They'll
they
vet
are.
real hard. real hard. They're going to vet so fucking hard.
They'd be like, is every dollar there? Yes, it is.
It's there.
All right.
Don't
Good
care
to
where
go.
it came from.
Stamp
Slash, baby.
Stamp it.
Moral of the story, if there's sovereign wealth money filed below and hidden through a bunch of basically it's not, I guess, what it should be called legally, but through lack of a better term, these kind of shellish type companies,
Yeah.
LPs. It's like the follow the money trail gets a little gray to the point that you're like, okay.
And then you're in Abu Dhabi.
Big fans of basketball.
That's it, dude.
Huge. I've heard it's a big place for basketball. But Jared Kushner, Joshua Kushner also, and Thrive, the Lakers is not just about the Lakers. Yeah, these investments are not just about just the love of the game and biz. They also do want to get into surveillance, Joey Deef. Henry writes, a report from Stefan Roll at the German Institute for Security and International Affairs says Gulf states have the biggest sovereign wealth funds in the world and use them to gain political influence. Since 2019, Mubadala, remember? Mubadala is the company we talked about way at the beginning here that the Khaldoon guy runs and MBZ is the chairman of.
Yep.
Mubadala has held since 2019 an indirect stake in the Israeli company NSO Group, the developer of the Pegasus spyware. They're all friends. In 2022, the Saudi company for artificial intelligence, another PIF subsidiary, invested more than $200 million, very chump change there, in the Chinese firm SenseTime, which is widely known for its facial recognition and surveillance technologies, which I'm sure they're not going to use for surveillance and power over the average person. Anyway, 2 years later, the PIF subsidiary Alat entered into a partnership with one of the largest manufacturers of surveillance technology in China, Dahua Technology, to produce surveillance hardware in Saudi Arabia. For its part, QIA, which is, I believe, Qatari, acquired a stake in Databricks in 2023, a data processing and artificial intelligence company whose platform can be used for real-time surveillance applications. Josh Kushner and Thrive, Henry writes, led Databricks' most recent $10 billion, there's that number again, in fundraising. Although while Roll discusses real-time surveillance, Kushner assures us that Databricks is driven by, quote, its mission to democratize data and AI. Never underestimate a billionaire's ability to use the word democracy inserted into the middle of any sentence to make it feel like it's for the people when they are fucking you right up the ass next while they do it. My God! These guys have absolutely gone everywhere since Donald Trump took power in, I guess, in January 2017. And he had the hiatus there where they were still, in this case, Jared Moore I'm referring to, were using that influence directly to get money and investments with all these places that are trampling on any quote-unquote human rights that people who care about democracy would pretend to care about.
Because they don't.
They don't.
Isn't it funny how everyone, it just seems like Israel, Qatar, China, everyone's just kind of like teaming up. They're like, all right, you guys got facial recognition. We're going to make the AI that does the real-time survey. And they're like, all right, let's meet back. Bet. Meet back in a few.
Yeah, it's almost like all the geopolitical conflicts are like a little derived as a stage for us to just...
One together.
Right. You know, throw some armies at it. We'll throw a few bodies at it.
Yeah, we'll play out a few wars.
Yeah,
we're not dying.
Yeah, a little pop control.
Come on.
A little pop control. That's
You ever ran a simulation on like your NCAA football? You're like, let it run for like half the season. We'll come in, finish it up, and
that's right.
You know, continue on.
Just let it simulate away, and make sure some defense companies make a lot of money, and that we're investing in them ahead of time. By the way, you know, we'll throw a few bucks in it too.
And we founded them.
You founded them.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a national. It's all multinational.
That's it.
That's all it is. But that's
crazy.
Doozy of an article from Henry Abbott. And again, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's nothing.
That's what I think. It's nothing.
It could be nothing.
Probably nothing.
It's probably not nothing. Do your own research, people. You decide for yourselves. But shout out to the Kushners. They seem to always come up. But, hey, I mean, we said it at the beginning, Joey Deef, the most important story of the week, with all due respect to the Kushners and MBZ and all these sovereign wealth funds and the Lakers and, you know, whatever. Most important story of the week is the massive Medellin North that was uncovered in State College, Pennsylvania. Let's get the breakdown here.
It really is a happy valley.
It is a happy valley out there. They don't even need fresh snow out there. The slopes are always covered.
Come on.
Let's pull up that
Way
first
to get
one
it.
with
Way
the
to get it
breakdown
done.
for people. Can you pull up the first one?
Oh yeah, that's
the
what
very
the
first
link
link
was.
I have right there.
Yeah, it's that.
So this is a quick breakdown if you've been living under a fucking rock and haven't seen the real story that rocked our world. This is the one I'm looking for. So Pablo Pledgescobar, which of course is a nickname. It's a pretty hard nickname though.
Fire.
This dude was a Dean's List accounting major. Joey, Deef, when you're doing important biz, you know, and running as my friend Luis Navia would say, product.
Yep.
That's what you refer to it as. Luis Navia was like the chief smuggler of cocaine for the cartels for many years before he went down in 2000 in Operation Journey. But anyway, when you're doing that, you need to be able to crunch the numbers.
Yeah, I would actually argue it's a very big advantage to have the guy running things also be the numbers guy.
That's right.
It's one less thing you got to outsource.
It's one less thing you got to outsource. Yep. Everyone obviously knows that all ducks are in a row. Yep. You make sure that you don't have people skimming off the top. You don't want that.
Yeah, and if the books are going to get cooked, you're the one cooking them.
You're the one cooking them. But this dude was a Dean's List accounting major at Penn State who kept a blog talking about, quote, his passion for numbers and financial storytelling, unquote. He did some
financial storytelling.
And how he wanted to be at the forefront of the financial landscape. Little did we know, he was already ahead of the curve.
Way to be, kid.
He also cut his frat brother's hair on the side for extra cash. He's a hustler. I like that.
Knows how to cut.
I like this kid. Meanwhile, he's allegedly the top of the entire cocaine chain for the campus, which is a rather large campus, running kilos out of a Sigma Chi and Delta Upsilon house, making regular supply runs to Philly and New York, as you do. That's where there's obviously some great supply chains that run through major cities like that, and they're both within, at Penn State, I think Philly's probably about 2.5 hour drive, and New York's probably about 3.5, so they're both reachable. So he'd make regular supply runs to Philly and New York and using actual pledges to cut and bag the product as their official, quote, indoctrination.
Damn right.
This is what you do. When you're managing labor, you look for the best opportunities to find cheap labor so that you can reduce costs, increase profit, and run a good business. I see no issues.
And with the incentive of the fraternity, you know you're going to get trustworthy employees because they want into the frat. And
they
if
do
you talk, you're not in, you're not out.
That's right. It's kind of like, this is very Skull and Bonesy in the sense that like they get their, what do they do at Skull and Bones? They like make them go naked in a fucking
they dress them
coffin
up in feathers.
and give up all their biggest secrets. And they take weird pictures of them so that they can never fucking turn on the place.
Yeah, yeah.
Pure spec, but that's what they say.
I mean, pure spec, this has been handed down through the fraternities.
It might be. Listen, if you have a good operation and you are a senior, you are about to graduate Penn State.
Yeah.
Which actually, as we're going to find out in a minute, this guy didn't like the whole passing down thing. But anyway, the people before him may have been like, listen, bro, the game ain't in me no more.
I have 2 kids.
I can't do this shit. I can't do this shit, bro. You got to take it. That's what you do. You pass it down and Pablo Pledgescobar takes over. But he would make the pledges, cut, and bag the product as official doctrination. There's even a photo from one of the deals where pledges are helping package 500 grams he's just sold for $18,000. Later deals hit full kilos. He's fucking hitting
respect.
He kept selling after he graduated. And this is our boy right here.
Yo.
Get a good look.
I want to shake his hand. I want to shake your hand.
Can we get the t-shirt, please?
That's straight Fogel,
the jokes write themselves because there were 14 people arrested here that included other students and one of the students' fathers, who's a lawyer, who's now been labeled Snowpaw, like Joe.
Dude, that's good family fun.
Who apparently created, and this is a lawyer, who had a safe where he hid money and evidence and whatever. So he's been charged with obstructing the investigation. But somebody please get me this t-shirt.
This is gonna be the t-shirts for the whiteout this
that's
fall.
All horrible. You know what's gonna happen? They're gonna try to ban this from the fucking
100%.
stadium. Like if kids are walking into the stadium with that, they're not gonna let them in. But if like 25,000 Penn State students for, I don't know how big the student section is, but if that's how big it is, walk in with that t-shirt, you're going to ban all 25K and then let in the next 25 who are also wearing the same fucking t-shirt?
No. I mean, I'm sure that there's like some coach somewhere in one of the programs doing crazy shit right now, so they're gonna just let it happen. They're
Bro,
gonna be like,
every
listen,
time there's a touchdown,
that's spec, by the way.
that's straight spec. But every time there's a touchdown this year, they're gonna be throwing baking soda in the air and shit.
Yeah, like throw it up in the air, like
just see
LeBron.
flour going up.
Or they should. Guys, here's one for you. You guys should all dress. You should do a ski themed game where you all dress up in ski equipment and stuff. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm happy. I told you, I'm really happy for these kids and everybody involved. And
Why are you happy for them?
I know that sounds a little dark because we're living in a time where we're talking about young kids aren't going out and drinking or having fun or engaging with one another sexually or whatever. And it's nice to see that like there's kids in college that not only are partying and selling little toots on the side, they're doing it, they're big doing it. And I think if anything, it's a little injection of hope for what's going on in our society.
A little injection of hope, Joey Deef says, because these kids are going from Penn State to the state Penn.
Something, that's good.
There are supply chains in the pens though. I do hear that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm just happy to see that the kids are just slinging some bags instead of like hanging in the room and watching, Fuentes or whoever, like they're getting involved on campus. They're communicating with one another.
Obviously, the show is satire, not to be taken literally, YouTube, but
yeah, no, I'm kidding.
It's all in
chill
good
out.
fun. But this is one of my favorite stories in a while, and unfortunately, though. Deef, this investigation, which by the way, this must have been like the fucking Super Bowl for the local cops around there. This investigation started back in the fall 2024 because they had some snitches on the boat.
Well, hey, you know what? I want to know this.
What do you want to know?
How many fentanyl-related ODs have happened on campus during the length of this investigation? Because if not, pretty impressive. You know that they were running a good operation with good, clean product. And I don't know, I'm not saying we should applaud them for it, but I guess we could say, hey, glad you guys didn't kill anybody. I recognize that could be a bit callous, but, it's just a joke. Just a joke.
No, you make a good point that we were losing our grip on traditions.
Yes.
And you got to bring some back. But I do want to say, this is also some anti-Italian defamation going on here.
Why? What do you mean?
Because fucking Pablo Pledgescobar is a member of the Boot Society.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. And
he's like Henry. He's like Henry in Goodfellas. Like, just
but he's got a last name with a
head.
vowel at the end. It's like Abatiello or some shit like that.
Yeah, we don't got that.
And this is always what happens, dude. They when the Italian's in charge, they come in.
I told you.
He made Joey Deef wrote a whole play about this.
I've been saying it.
It's been happening for over a century.
One of two things happens. The Italian gets in charge and he just goes full-blown corrupt. Fauci, Cuomo, list goes on and on. Mm-hmm. Or he gets into power and they're just like, this olive oil singing voice needs out. And they just, they do this. They do sting operation, whack them.
Take them out.
Yeah, it's like,
We'll monitor the case. We'll see what kind of lawyers these guys get. But fucking Pledgescobar, he didn't even get bail.
Dude, apparently, that's a little much.
It's a little much, but apparently, like, he didn't show up right away for the arraignment.
Yeah, because he's a G.
he's like stars always late.
He's like Fogel in Superbad, like gangsters, chicka, yeah, fake ID. He's like, fuck that. But I think denying bail was a bit crazy. Like, I read that and I'm like, that's a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, what's the line from The Sopranos? It's a little coke.
Yeah, it's just a little coke.
What do you want?
Yeah. Wish him well.
We do. As Tim Dillon would say, we do wish him well. We wish him very well. Can you pull that data? How many drug-related deaths
have
occurred
happened in
at Penn
Happy
State
Valley
in the past 3 years?
How many
drug-related deaths have occurred on Penn State's campus in the last 3 years?
But that wording right
Uh-oh.
there, on campus.
So
I'm going to say Happy Valley.
You think the business may have extended past the lines of the students?
Totally. They broke those. No. It's all students. I'm just saying that they're not always partying on campus.
Oh, right.
You know,
right,
so like have occurred
within, how
in
about
Happy
this?
Valley.
Within the student body of Penn State. Do that. This is some live research on the show, everybody. These are the important things that Joey Deef is always...
because that's going to be big in the trial. Because if they got a few Fent debts, they're going to be like, these are tied to you, son.
Actually, if they do, then that's fucked. Because that is, and we talked about that before, that is the thing with...
There's no centralized
the party drugs today. It's like, it's not like it was even 10 years ago. You know, because you don't know what the fuck is in them. It's scary shit. There's no data, Joey Deef?
It says there's no centralized or publicly released official statistics given that. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be releasing statistics like that if I was a college either, you know? That makes sense.
That's actually very fair. It's very fair.
Wanna...
It's like, well, we only lost 2 this year.
Yeah, it's like, well, those were children.
Yeah, they're fucking kids.
They have families.
That is a fair point. But you would think like the local government would maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna. All right. So, how many drug-related deaths have occurred in Happy Valley?
In State College, PA. I mean, that's the whole town, though. So, I mean, the distribution network could have gone far.
Yeah, but if you're an adult living in Happy Valley, you know, you probably should, you know, hang it up. You know, what kind of day-to-day life do you have living in state college? Like that's
living the glory days, bro.
I mean, really are.
Old School is one of my favorite movies. You never know.
That's right.
It's never too late. It's never too late to go back.
So, wow.
What? Uh-oh.
Wow.
Did you find something good?
Yeah, I mean, wow. Impressive. All right. In Happy Valley State College surrounding Center County, Pennsylvania, a total of 176 deaths have been recorded since 2013.
I will say this. If any of those, now these kids are in operation over the last 5 years, and this part I say seriously.
Yeah.
If any of those are tied back to these kids, they're fucked.
Oh, it's over.
And they should be. They should be. I mean, all jokes aside, because it is a funny story. That's what we do here. But that's, and again, I don't have kids yet, but I think about that a lot. Like when they're going to be teenagers and everything. Who knows what the fuck is going to be around by then? I have no idea. But you don't know.
Smoking crypto.
You don't know what you're getting.
Nah.
These days. It's not, you know, you're always, whenever you're doing party drugs of any kind, obviously you were always taking a risk, even if it was the fucking 70s. But like the whole, you know, the precursors and everything that just be thrown into this by people who don't give a fuck, all it takes is once. And that's I talk to a lot of parents about that. And of course, that's like their number one fear. And I totally agree with them. I totally understand that.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think there needs to be good education and safety taught.
Yes.
Like bunk police. I forgot who was on here recently and mentioned them, but bunk police is like a $20 testing kit. Not saying you should do it, but I mean, for Christ's sakes, if you're gonna fucking
Bare
do
minimum,
it,
yeah.
throw 20 fucking
Yeah, throw $20
and get a fucking test kit.
Yeah, I test them. Anyway,
that's not.
It's funny,
drug use
Joe. It's funny how many resources they put into catching these kids. And as far as I can tell publicly, I still don't see any resources going into Phoebe Gates.
Well,
you know, who allegedly, it's all alleged, you know, knew about some cookie stuffing that we've covered now on 2 separate shows.
Yeah.
But the story keeps getting funnier. And by funnier, I mean you want to poke your eyeballs out because you can't even write this stuff anymore. Phoebe Gates, daughter of Bill Gates, who's never been accused ever, not once, Joy, never even been accused of being a global elite that wants to, you know, control how populations exist in this country or around the world. He has never been accused of that, ever.
No.
But Phoebe Gates, daughter of Bill Gates, took a secret Stanford course on controlling society and used it to recruit for her startup that's now facing allegations. So, the first part of the article goes through all the stuff that she's accused of. The next part of the article, though, goes through this whole course. So, the extent of Gates' self-conceit may, and this is from Yahoo, may also be the result of a secondary education. Secondary education. So it's like the next level. So you don't
get credits for this.
Yeah, you get to go upstairs. You get to go to the secret room.
Gotcha.
A secondary education at Stanford University, which is known to indulge in privileged people's already heightened sense of self-worth. Yo, whoever wrote that, that's a nice sentence right there. I like that. Who's the writer of this article?
This is Victor Tangerman.
Victor, you cook there. As the student-run newspaper, the Stanford Daily, reported in May, Gates, she got outed by the student paper. Good on them.
Way to be,
guys. Good journalism.
I like that.
Gates even attended a secretive off-the-books course, which was never publicized and required a referral from another student. Again, very skulls and bones.
Student?
Called, quote, "So you think you can rule the world," unquote, or, quote, "rule," unquote, in the shorthand of the Stanford set. The content of the course, which saw 12 students meet once a week during the winter quarter, sounds about as ominous as its name suggests. The course's instructor, Silicon Valley investor and Stanford graduate Justin Lewis Weber, took it upon himself to bring together, quote, "like-minded folks who dared to dream bigger together." I love how they dress it up. It sounds good.
It's always good.
As a former student put it in the interview with the Daily, which is the Stanford paper. Another student added that the goal was to teach students, quote, "how to essentially hack any kind of power structure or bureaucratic structure and get what they want in a system of people," unquote, which is definitely not what Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein spent apparently a lot of their adult lives trying to do. It's more, quote, "it's more about identifying the vulnerabilities or loopholes." We love loopholes. The same student added, "I think the instructor is less concerned with the ethics of it all than the problem-solving elements." Another student said the course focused on the cynical parts of Silicon Valley, describing the instructor behind it as power-hungry, intellectual, but really focused on profit and power instead of doing good. Yeah, a course called "So You Think You Can Run the World" is about fucking profit and power and not doing good. Who would have guessed? The course wasn't incidental to Gates' professional career either. Another student told the Stanford Daily,
"Yep.
Kash Patel, where are you, bro? Pull up, son." Another student told the Stanford Daily that Gates used the class to recruit for her company, FIA. Considering how long Gates knew about her startup's dicey and potential fraudulent practice, which accounted for over 50% of their revenue in June, per Bloomberg's estimates, she must have been taking plenty of detailed notes during the class.
Go ahead, Vic.
Also, go ahead, Victor.
Come on.
Go ahead. Love to see it. These people live by a separate set of laws as you and I. Now, listen, Deef, if Kash Patel comes down off that fucking FBI jet, eyes all wondering, you never know where they're looking, but he's got that FBI jacket on, those custom Air Forces that write FBI Director Cash on the back of it, you know, and comes down in front of a mic and said, you know, we have arrested Phoebe Gates on allegations of cookie stuffing, he will get a loud apology from me on this. And I will.
And I'll be Chinese.
He'll be Chinese, but I'll be giving it a round of applause. I'm just not going to hold my breath to see that day because I'll be dead.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. But, you know, in the midst of optically not reading the room, we just continue to see more long patterns of not reading the room. Yeah, very privileged kids that, you know, seem to want to follow in daddy's footsteps. Pure spec.
Yeah, this is the year of optics. I'll tell you that. Like, if you wanted to ask me what's the one thing you took away from this year with all this stuff, I'm like, I have realized that people, they do not think about how it looks ever.
They don't
ever,
because there's no punishment.
No, like it's just that's where we're at. You just do your thing.
They can do it, and then they can look down at you and say, "What are you gonna do about it?" And you know what, Joey Deef, I'm going to be honest. You and I are going to sit here and talk into mics on YouTube and upload it.
Yeah.
And that's the extent of what we're going to do about it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I don't have the ability to arrest these people myself.
You know, that best part is you just said that and some fucking person in the comments is going to talk so much shit and like they're just sitting at home in their underwear just like ripping comments. Like that's hilarious.
Good for them.
Like, you stupid fuckers just making a podcast about it.
That's right. That's right.
That's eat your Lay's chips, son.
That's all we can do on our corner of the internet, but we will shine a light on it, as we always do. But speaking of optics, Joey Deef, you know what some great optics are?
Yeah, where?
When you're the sitting president of the United States and your extremely unqualified real estate buddy who has been unsuccessfully negotiating along with Jared Kushner the implosion of what's happening in this Iran war for many months now, who's been a disaster of a Middle East envoy, when the two of you, the president, and this guy, Steve Witkoff, decide to come together while you're still in office and market off your name, the Trump name and the Witkoff name, a brand new bank.
They're off that Penn State pack.
This is from
coming up with ideas like that. That's all I'm going to say about that.
This is from Karen Piper on Twitter. The Trump and Witkoff families are opening a bank in Florida. The investors in this bank are undisclosed. It will not have to follow FDIC rules.
Nice.
And she says, pure spec here on Karen's part, I smell a money laundering opportunity. Now let's read the bylaws that they're whatever the fuck this is.
Out.
Then she screenshot it. Just hold on, it gets worse, folks. Upon opening, WLTC will be a national trust bank engaged in activities permissible under Section 92A of the National Bank Act, including the issuance of USD1, a fiat-backed digital asset. I'm going to come back to this in a minute. Designed to maintain a one-to-one equivalence to the US dollar. WLTC will also manage, that's the bank, the required reserve backing outstanding USD1, comprised of US dollars on deposit in financial institutions, as well as US government money market funds and cash equivalents, and engage in custodial activities. The sponsor's primary goals are to deliver superior financial products and drive mainstream adoption of USD1, which will be issued by WLTC. Along with issuance and redemption of USD1 and maintenance of the required reserve, WLTC seeks to provide digital asset custody services to institutional investors as described in detail in Section 3.A of WLT's confidential business plan, provided at confidential Exhibit B, because we got to be confidential about this, because obviously we don't need to be letting the public know about what we're doing. The optics of a sitting president and his fucking unelected envoy opening up a bank that is going to be using said bank to push forward a digital currency that they stand to profit on through their company that they're setting up here. The optics are pretty bad there. And when we're living in a world, who knows what the grand plan is with USD1, which I'm going to explain more in a second. But so we'll find out then. But when you have people like me and you righteously worried about central bank digital currencies and stuff, someone so high in the power structure setting up their own currency that's crypto-backed with a brand new fucking bank that they're setting up, almost like a sunset clause after they leave office. Yeah, I think it's fair to say the tinfoil hat's getting a few buzzes at the top of it. Little electromagnetic waves, if you will, right?
Yeah, especially when you're leading the adoption of this cool new said digital currency. I don't really like that.
Joey Deef doesn't like that. That's on the record.
Because what happens when you're not the president anymore? You guys are still, this is, doesn't sit well with me. I'm at a loss for words. How you doing?
You're at a loss for words.
I don't lie, Joey Deef. How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing? Let's talk about what USD1 is, though. This is straight from Google AI. The most basic AI there is that definitely is not in any way compromised. Anyway, USD1 is a digital dollar peg stablecoin created by World Liberty Financial, a cryptocurrency venture co-founded by Donald Trump and his family. Of course, it's a family affair. What USD1 is. USD1 is a cryptographic digital asset designed to maintain a stable value of $1.
Okay.
It is backed by cash equivalents, short-term U.S. government treasury bonds, because of course we've got to get the government and their bonds involved, and dollar deposits. Launched in March 2025, it has grown significantly, reaching over $4 billion in circulation. The newly approved World Liberty Trust Company received preliminary conditional approval for a federal national trust bank charter, which is what we just read, from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. Of course, the government that he runs gave the approval for the fucking thing that they're asking for.
That makes sense.
I wonder how that would happen.
Yeah.
But what's important is that it removes middlemen. This charter allows the trust company to directly issue, redeem, and manage the cash reserves themselves backing USD1 instead of relying on external third-party custodians like BitGo. It's good biz, Joey Deef. You cut out the middleman, you create more vertical integration yourself, and boom.
Yeah.
Right? I can't argue with that.
It's good biz, I guess.
The institution operates strictly as a trust bank rather than a traditional consumer bank. It does not issue standard consumer loans or hold ordinary retail bank deposits, because that would require them to work with some normal people, which, you know, that's not a part of his base at all, right?
No.
I don't know who tells him being Donald Trump, that it's a good idea to do this stuff. Or maybe he just genuinely doesn't give a fuck and wants to continue playing opposite day and rubbing it in your face and, you know.
I take that one, yeah.
Yeah, right?
I take that one.
And behaving like what appears to be a very, very big Trojan horse. Whatever it is, if there is someone who's advising him to do these things and telling him that it looks good, allow us to be the realm of common sense here and say, stop. None of this looks good. This doesn't require a tinfoil hat to at least a certain level here for sure. This is just a bad look. It's profiting, in my opinion, profiting off the presidency. His whole thing that he said when he came out in 2015, at first it was, I'm totally self-funding my campaign. I'm not doing this. So, you know, I could just go back to be a billionaire, which was fair. And then he got into office. He said, I'm not taking whatever it is, the $400,000 salary the president gets or whatever, and I'm removing myself from my businesses. Okay, cool. But now we're in term 2, and his family's, we've already laid out a bunch of things his family's profiting off of.
Weeks and weeks of it.
And weeks and weeks of it. You know, we'll keep going through it as we find more. And now he's just directly involved. I saw data, maybe we can pull it up, Joey Deef. I didn't pull this up before. Yeah, but that he just had like his most successful, Donald Trump in his publicly available financial disclosures had his most successful year ever or something last year. It's like, it just stinks, man. Like, these are the same guys that, even fairly so, were calling out corruption with like Hunter Biden and the Bidens and selling access and stuff like that, which, by the way, they had a lot of evidence for that. I'm not arguing with that at all. But they're talking about $10 million and $20 million, which is a lot of money. But we're talking about things that are in the billions with these guys. You know, and I came up with a line the other day with Joby Warwick. We're going to have another episode with him coming out on Tuesday, his 4th time on the podcast. Really, really enjoyed that one. Great discussion. Just recorded it. But, you know, I was like, the Biden administration was akin to someone turning the fucking water on and leaving the house for 3 weeks. The Trump administration is akin to someone busting the fucking pipes and leaving the house for 3 weeks. They're both bad. They both waste water. One's doing it passively, one's doing it aggressively. At this point, I don't see any data from our respective power structures that end up in the White House that can show me otherwise. You are literally stuck with just bad choice and bad choice, which it's been that way objectively for a while, in my opinion. I should say subjectively, in my opinion there. That wouldn't make sense to say objectively, but it's been that way for a while. But goddamn, it's like that old sign. Our expectations were low, but fuck. Holy fuck, man. Like this low? It's dumb. But at least we can all coalesce around something.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can all coalesce around the flock cameras, Joey.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
See Darth Vader made an appearance this week?
Darth Vader, Shilling.
Can we pull that up?
What the fuck's that?
That's who I want Shilling flock cams. That's good branding. That's good branding right there. I know you don't want to agree with that, but you know it's true.
Yeah, I don't like
it. It's the first link under flock right there. I hope I didn't fuck this one up too. But Darth Vader showed up at a city council meeting and defended Garrett Langley and his fleet of... By the way, forget I already mentioned earlier his last name being symbolic, but like, what a dystopian name, Flock. You know, like, who did this? It's kind of perfect, but it's so dystopian. Is that the yeah? All right, let's full screen this. Get this for people. So this is Darth Vader at the Public Safety Committee coming up for a non-agenda public comment. I'm just reading the screen here like Ron Burgundy. I don't know what that means.
Thank you. It's been a great day. Love to all.
Thank you. Darth Vader?
Oh my God, he said that's his name too. That's all.
Can you call me up? Call me Darth Vader.
The Emperor is a fan of flock, and we must continue utilizing flock technologies so that we can follow and surveil the rebel scum as they move from playground to playground, from playground to pool, from pool to gymnasium, because we all know that the flock cameras are not only following the license plate readers, they are following children. They are following children in parks and gymnasiums, and we need this. I need this so I can stalk my ex-girlfriend.
Thank you.
Love a good bit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Look, you are seeing a lot of people from a lot of political backgrounds, by the way. I'm seeing some unanimity on this who are upset about these things going up everywhere because it's now a visual. Like I said earlier, the phone creates this kind of illusion because we're in it, we email on there, we text on there, we do everything.
Yeah.
We're not actively thinking about it, and we should be. We should be. But these things right out in public, very three-dimensional with a one-dimensional task. Look at you, and God knows what happens after that. People have every right to be upset about this. They have every right to question all the money from an investment perspective that has flowed into these technologies, into Flock. We've seen the laundry list of that. That includes Peter Thiel, of course, because he's always involved in this kind of stuff, apparently. You know, people have a right to be angry about that. And now you're talking about, you see that right there? I have a link right there. That there's even a discussed plan. It's from a leaked internal 2025 meeting. So this has not happened yet, to be clear. But this is a discussion that has happened behind the scenes about converting Ubers and Lyfts to license plate scan. Like, to all my law enforcement guys out there, I say this because I've had a few conversations this week with some law enforcement guys who have reached out very classily, by the way. I haven't had anything nasty. We've had some nice back and forth who have reached out and said, hey, these cameras are making my job easier. And I'm able to, we are able to prevent some crime and things like that. I said, hey guys, let me assume, because I don't know any of these people. They're all just reaching out. They could be horrible guys. They could be great guys. I want to assume they're great guys. I'm like, all right, let me assume you're a great guy who takes his job seriously and really does want to stop crime and prevent it and help people. That's awesome. When you create the precedent to be able to do this, you are also creating the precedent for the bad guy holding your same badge that you don't know about, the rotten apple, if you will, to do the same thing. This is called human nature. It is the definition of a slippery slope. It is exactly what our founders warned about. And so it has disappointed me when guys who are in law enforcement who are paid to uphold the law based upon people's constitutional rights cannot see the irony of preventing crime by violating potentially, or I should say, let me be fair, opening up the door for the violation of people's constitutional rights in order for that to happen. That's not supposed to be how it works. And whenever I've said to these guys, like one line I've given these guys is they're like, what's your big issue with the Flock thing? And I say, I've read the book 1984. And again, let's not be a hypocrite. Let's not ignore these phones. These phones are an issue. But in public spaces, against your will, all these things going up. We played the chart a few weeks ago of how correlated they are with January 20th, 2025, when Donald Trump came in, and his first day, the next day in office, he's doing a press conference with Larry Ellison and fucking Sam Altman about the AI state. Like, we've been seeing these bars. And But another thing, people are talking about, what are you going to do about companies like Axon, which we have already? Yes, we will. I talked to someone this week about that a little bit as well. And at some point, we're going to do a podcast. I'm sure that's going to come up. Flock is just the symbol. There are a lot of other companies that are looking to do this and would love to see Flock unseated so that they could come in there and say, no, we're doing it the right way. I didn't tell you this, Joey Deef. I got an email the other day. I won't say the name of the company, but I got an email from a company that does the same thing Flock does, asking to come on the show because they're like, yeah, no, I'm so happy you're going after Flock. We're going to do this the constitutional way. I'd looked into it for about 5 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, that's not what you're doing. No. It's laughable. And this company, it also does, it's a joke company. Like, they're not going to make it. I'll just put it that way. But, you see this stuff happening and you have a right to ask questions. And again, optics. The worst people are the ones who love this. You got that video of Bari Weiss down there? Let's pull that up. So Bari Weiss, owner of the Free Press, very fairly bought for around $200 million because all her fucking 500 views per video on YouTube were certainly worth that, who's now also somehow in charge of CBS and running that fucking place into the ground. Bari Weiss, whose key issue is Israel. That's her own admission. That's her number one issue on everything. Bari Weiss, purchased by Larry Ellison to come do all these things and, have editorial over CBS and run the Free Press and, get that $200 million, which is nothing to him, for the rights to the Free Press to bring her into the operation. Bari Weiss, of course, through the Free Press, loves Flock. And she wants to use her publications and her media outlets to make sure you know. Let's run this video, Joey Deef.
Do you ever feel like you're watched? That's the panic behind a new fear sweeping across America. People are freaked out.
Get a good-looking woman, tell you it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. It's going to be all right. Mm-hmm. I look good. You look good. Maybe we can get out of here, get some dinner. Listen about these Flock cams. Go ahead.
Out about surveillance from our employers, our nanny cams, and our phones watching our every move. And right now, this anxiety is being taken out with electric saws and cans of spray paint on tools used by law enforcement to keep us all safe. The target?
Keep us all safe.
Flock safety cameras. In upstate New York, someone cut down a Flock safety camera with an electric saw. In Oakland, California, another was covered in paint. And in Idaho, someone rammed one with their truck. And in good old Florida, a man just sits in his lawn chair with a cardboard held up for the light.
Yo, pause that real quick. Go back to that guy. Hold on. Let's get that on the screen. Go back a little bit. Not all heroes wear capes, bro. Look at this motherfucker. This is down in Florida. I don't know this guy's name. I see a little tag down there at the bottom. I don't know if it's an associated account. It says @HarborHoney_. I guess that's on X. This dude is holding up a fucking...
Bring him a beer.
A fucking black screen, sitting in his lawn chair to block the camera from seeing everything. That's a goddamn American right there, and that is the best of what a Florida man has to offer. So,
well done.
Well done, sir. All right, let's keep it going.
The lens. Since January, roughly 23 cities have canceled their contracts or shut off their Flock camera over Fourth Amendment concerns. There's even an open source intelligence website,
pause that real quick.
that's...
She's reading a script. I mean, not that we didn't know that already, but they fucked up that one right there. She was literally reading the fucking board at the side before that cut. Go ahead.
Finding these cameras so people know exactly where to vandalize them.
Go back on that. I'm sorry. There's so many things here, Joey Deef. I'm making you work. My bad. Go back to that map real quick. It's a real blind spot on the Upper West Side there, no?
Yeah. Upper East got it, though.
Upper East has a little, but Upper West. They're living under darkness up there. They need a hero that they deserve, but not the one they need right now.
Jersey City.
They got some in Jersey City, too.
Hoboken,
I don't see any in Hoboken. We're looking okay right now. That's good.
Exactly where to vandalize them. Here's what's actually under attack. In 2025 alone, the system helped locate 10,000 missing people. About 27 people a day, or about one every hour. Over 40% of...
That's what they do. They hide positives up front. That is what you call the outside of the Trojan horse, to convince you that this gift is a parting offer of peace. When in reality, they're going to come out, kill your fucking families, rape your wives, and sack the whole city. Anyway, let's continue.
Agencies said Flock helped recover over half of the stolen vehicles in their jurisdiction. In Indiana, an infant abducted at a shopping center was found in under 2 hours. In Ohio, a
She even had to go inside for that.
She went inside.
She's like, let me sit down because this is gonna get nuts.
And she's doing the leg cross, the sexy leg cross. Listen, I appreciate the marketing efforts here. I see optically what you're trying to do.
Girl was located in under 30 minutes. And this is the tool that people are treating like the enemy. It is fair to have concerns about how companies use and track our data, but that's not what these cameras are for. To be blunt, they're not interested in you, unless you're a kidnapper, a thief, or someone who intends to do harm.
That's right. They're never going to be interested in you. They're never going to be potentially, I don't know, taken control of by government forces, bureaucracy to maybe install a little central bank of digital currency and surveillance. It's never going to happen. Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.